Hi there, good morning and welcome. Well, for those of you who don't know, I am married to Dion and we have two children, Joshua and Carlin. Now, when our two little ones, kids were little, they're grown up now. Joshua was the busy one, always on the go. He hated to have shoes on. He used to love running outside barefoot. He just hated to be confined to one area, where Carlin was a little more cautious, and wherever if I was in the kitchen cooking, she would be there. If I was in the bedroom, she would follow me there. Just different natures. But as I'm sure you all know as a parent, we all want our children well behaved and able to listen and able to follow instructions. Sometimes it felt like all we were doing was saying, no, don't touch that, say please, say thank you. And I remember one day my husband and I sitting and talking and saying, when on earth is it just going to click? When is it going to just click with them that they need to listen? They need to follow instructions. Well, I was reading a scripture in Psalms chapter 40, verse 6, and it says, sacrifice and offering you do not desire, God, nor have you any delight in them. You, God, have given me the capacity to hear and to obey. Well, this verse made me start to think. It's just like our kids at times. When we call them, they may say, I never heard you, Mom. We are the same with God at times. He speaks and we don't always listen, all right? The scripture says that you have given me the capacity to hear. Wow. When we tuned into the things of God, okay, He speaks to us and we can hear Him. Okay, we all know that God can speak to us in many, many different ways. Well, in my life, I know that God speaks to me daily through His Word. I would say that would be the case in most of our lives. He has spoken to me through situations that I found myself in. Okay, He has spoken to me through other believers at times. These are maybe just a few of the ways that God speaks to us. But I have found in my life that the more I align myself with God, the more I spend time in His Word, meditating on His Word, and spend time in prayer, the more I begin to hear God and the more I hear Him more clearly as He speaks to me. Now in John chapter 8 verse 47 it says, whoever is of God listens to God. Okay, this is the reason that you do not listen to those words to me, because you do not belong to God and are not of God or are in harmony with God. So the scripture continues to say that you have given me the capacity to obey. All right, this obeying is sometimes the hardest. You know that Jonah in the Bible, he didn't obey when he heard what God's told him to do, okay? He didn't obey, and the consequences of him not obeying were not the nicest. He spent, we know, 3 days and 3 nights in the belly of a fish. I cannot think of anything worse than that. Well, God speaks to you and I through His Word, and sometimes we still go ahead and we do our own thing, okay? And then we have to face consequences that are maybe not that nice. Sometimes we hear God, and we have full intentions of doing the right thing, but we mess up, okay? We really need to be hearing and we really need to be obeying. Okay, imagine how much easier life would be for us. Well, fortunately, very, very fortunate for us, we serve a gracious, gracious God who forgives us each and every time we mess up. He forgives us. We know that Jonah, in Jonah 2 verses 1 and 2, we know that Jonah prayed to the Lord his God from the fish's belly and said, I cried out of my distress to the Lord and He heard me. Okay, God is loving today and He helps us to get back on track. Okay, then we see that God spoke to Noah a second time in Jonah 3 verses 1 and 2, and it says, and the word of the Lord came to Jonah the second time, saying, arise and go to Nineveh, that great city, and preach and cry to it the preaching that I tell you. We know that in Jonah chapter 3 that Jonah went to Nineveh, and the people there, they repented, they turned from their wicked ways, and they turned to God. Through Jonah's obedience, the people of Nineveh were saved. Today, for you and I, let us make the choice. Let us make the choice to hear what God is telling us and then to go and obey. to what He has told us to do. Have a blessed day today, hearing God and obeying God in all you do. And we'll chat again soon. God bless. Bye bye.